I'm thankful that each of you, one of you, are here today. This is my first time hosting Mindful Meetups. I'm thankful to Samantha and her team for affording us the opportunity for others to participate. And what we're going to talk about today is supporting each other. So when I was thinking about what kind of mindful thing we could do with supporting each other, the first thing that kind of came to mind was loving kindness and self-compassion for ourselves, because we can't support someone else unless we support ourselves. Does that make sense? Because we, as human beings, and I'm not going to say female, I'm going to say female, male, children, as human beings, we are so self-critical, and we need to learn to be compassionate towards ourselves. So what I want to do this morning is a little loving kindness and self-compassion meditation. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. If you would sit in a comfortable position, reasonably upright and relaxed, you can fully close your eyes, partially close your eyes, whichever you feel comfortable with. Just take a few deep breaths to settle into your body and into the present moment. Put your hand on your heart for a moment as a reminder to be kind to yourself. Form an image of yourself sitting down. Note your posture on the chair as if you were seeing yourself from the outside. Now bring your attention inside your body and feel the pulsation and vibration of your body. Locate your breathing where you can feel it most easily. Feel how your breath moves in your body, and when your attention wanders, gently feel the movement of your breath over again. After a few minutes, start to notice physical sensations of stress that you're holding in your body. Perhaps in your neck, your jaw, your belly, or forehead. Also notice if you're holding on to some difficult emotions, such as worry about the future or uneasiness about the past. Understand that every human body bears stress and worry throughout the day. Now offer yourself goodwill because of what you're holding in your body right now. Say the following phrases to yourself softly and gently. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be kind to myself. May I accept myself as I am. When you notice that your mind has wandered, return to the words or the experience of discomfort in your body or mind. Go slow. If you are overwhelmed with emotion, you can always return to your breathing. You can also name the emotion or find it in the physical body and soften that area. Then, when you're comfortable, return to the phrases. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be kind to myself. May I accept myself as I am. Finally, take a few breaths and just rest quietly in your own body. Know that you can return to the phrases anytime that you wish. Okay, you may gently open your eyes now. All right. And sometimes it's good throughout the day just to say things to yourself like, I may I be kind to myself, because sometimes we are our most critical person in our lives. We can be that ourselves. And so, you know, in order to support others, learn to support yourself first. Learn to give yourself compassion. All right, so let's just dive in here. What is supporting? Well, supporting can be lots of different things, but I want to focus today on the social aspect, which is friends and other people, including family. And when we say friends and other people, some people may not have family. Some people may have family that is just toxic to them. So we need to find whatever that social support system is that works well for us. And especially in the workplace, there are, we not like to think this, but there are people that are good friends and a good social support system we have. And then there are people we work with who are toxic, and that can cause such stress in our bodies and minds. But so find that social support system within your life at home and within work, those people that are going to support you and be there to encourage you. Also, we have support emotionally. And I will admit, and anybody that knows me well enough knows that I love people with a passion. But emotionally, when it comes to showing emotions, it's very difficult for me on that end to show like crying and things like that. But when for myself, but when it comes to other people, I will give completely. And that's what I want you to see today. We need to emotionally can be genuine encouragement, reassurance, and compassion. And we're going to talk about those a little more here. And then at the end of this, I want you to be thinking about some ways that you support people in your life, because at the end, I want to give everybody an opportunity to share some ways that you encourage people. All right, genuine encouragement. Encouragement should be based off facts. It shouldn't be just, encouragement about something that's just you pull out of the air. Make it based off of something that relates to that person specifically. So like, hey, man, you did a great job on that presentation last week. That you did an awesome job. I love the way that you brought people in, that you had us all join together. Make it base the encouragement off facts, because that's what that's going to mean is when you do that, you're going to let people know that you listened, that you've noticed something, and that makes that encouragement even more important, because you noticed something about them, and then you're saying, hey, great job. Praise your coworker. Certainly you can praise them alone. Each Monday, I have some people that I know that I send out a Monday motivation, and it's just an encouragement to start the week off, to say, hey, this is just a word of encouragement for the week. It's usually, and this is something any of you can do. Take a group of your friends, a group of people you work with, send an email, pick a motivational phrase that says, hey, this is the motivation of the week. And it's just something to say, let's get the week started off on the right foot, kind of like we're doing here in this time that we have every Monday. But praise in front of others is important too, because you're saying, not only do I appreciate you, but I want other people to see how much I appreciate you. I want other people to see the hard work you're doing. And that really does build you up. When you think about it, when you've been encouraged in maybe a staff meeting or something, hey, I want to just throw out a word of the great job that Samantha did, teaching her workshop. That really does make you feel good. So think of those things that you can just give people encouragement. Reassurance, that's important right now in this time that we have with COVID especially, and people working from home, and people just uncertain about what the future holds for us, for any of us. And I mean, that's not just during times of COVID. So, when you're reassuring someone, it is helping them remove their doubts and fears. We all have doubts, we all have fears, and to have someone come alongside you and say, hey, I'm here to encourage you, to reassure you that you've got this. Learn to be respectful with that. Don't dismiss what they're feeling. I have, a nephew, and he sends me text messages, and I have to be really conscious about how I respond back to him, because I want to respond one way, and be like just harsh, because I've kind of become like his parental figure. But then I have to think about, okay, how can I word this so that he gets it, so that so I'm respecting his feelings, because whereas I might think someone's feelings are just out there, to them it's important. So be respectful of people's feelings. Think about what they are feeling because it's important to them. Show that you're listening, and by being respectful, you are showing that you're listening because you're paying attention to what they're saying. You're not just, okay, well, I'm listening, but let me play on my phone while I'm listening to you. Really pay attention to them. And we're going to talk about listening here in a minute. Use positive, hopeful language. Give them some positivity, some hope for the future. This one's important. Avoid giving advice, and meaning don't tell them, oh, but give them information and resources. Hey, if you're feeling depressed, call this. Here's a number. These are people. I can't help you, but I love you, and I want you to know I'm there for you. So here's some resources that are available to you. Those are very important, especially right now, because people might need that, and you may not realize that. And also be a caring colleague. And you remember them people, let's go back, remember those people I talked to you about that are the toxic ones? Sometimes those toxic people are the ones who need a caring colleague the most, because people are not toxic because there's a reason why. So I always say the people who need love and compassion are the ones who seem like they need it the less. So people that are harsh, uncaring, are just rough, those are the people that need to know that people love them. And you may not see that come back to you, but it's important to give that back to them. And the third one is compassion. Get to know your colleagues better. Hey, how's your kids doing? You had a new dog. Get to know them. Know the little things. I mean, you're working with these people 8 hours a day. It's like they're your family. They are, better or worse, your colleagues are your family because you're working with them 8 hours a day, and you support each other. Offer to help a coworker. You might be a little, you might see them being stressed, and like in our office, we know who has what strength. So we say, hey, I can help you do that like really quicker. Not, don't say it that way, but it's like, you in yourself, I could help them do that quicker because that's my specialty. Just say, hey, I noticed you're struggling with that. I'd be really glad to help you. I've got a few extra minutes. Give some offer of help. And that's really just showing compassion, that you see that person struggling with something, they need a little help, and you offer that. And it's awesome. Back to the reassurance, take notice of the colleague's mental well-being. I am a prime example of, how are you doing? I'm fine. And I might not be fine. I might be like just out there. And my friends, once you get to know people, they know, no, you're not. Don't lie to me. And so people like that. So take notice, pay attention to their mental well-being. They might need a little more compassion in that day, a little more support, a little more friendship. Maybe, back when we could get to them, and if you're hugs. I love this quote here by the Dalai Lama. It says, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. Compassion is huge. And it's just, loving people and feeling other people's pain and just coming along beside them saying, hey, I care. Okay, actively listening. And, like we talked about, sometimes we don't listen, but give them your full attention, pay attention, like look at them. And if you've ever played that listening game that you can play in some of these workshops you've done, and you listen to people, and by the time it gets all the way around to the last person, that sentence you said has like totally changed, listen, give your full attention, pay attention, show some interest. Oh, wow, you went skiing? Tell me about that. Some things that just let them know you care about them. Listening to people can help them know you care. Offer support without judgment. Again, that's huge. We are so easy just to immediately offer that judgment and say, well, this is, you should have done this. Just offer support. Sometimes all people want is someone to listen. They don't want you to tell them what to do. They don't want you telling them what they did wrong. They just need someone to listen. Okay, examples of building of listening techniques. We need to build trust and establish that rapport. But because people are not going to talk to you unless they really trust you and know that you are concerned, and that you're not going to go and tell the 10 people down the hall what they shared with you. So build that rapport so that they know that you do care. Demonstrate that concern. Show them, hey, I really do care. You know, and actions sometimes speak louder than words. So just that shaking of the head while they're talking, and so that they can tell, making eye contact. Paraphrase back to them to show you understand. So, okay, so I understand this is what you're saying to me. And that kind of gives them that, yes, you did understand what I was trying to talk about. Back to the nonverbal cues, nodding, the eye contact, and leaning forward so that you're kind of making that contact with them. And then brief verbal affirmations like, I see, I know, yeah, sure, or I understand. Or, the big one for me is not so much maybe you understand, but I can sympathize. I may not, I do not understand what you're going through. I cannot, but I sympathize with you, and I care, and I want to listen to you. Ask tailored questions instead of how are you doing. I mean, that's just a general, you go down the street, how you doing, so instead of that, say, I noticed you have been a little quiet lately, would you like to talk about it? Especially if that coworker or family member is usually a talkative person and you're noticing changes. You can notice subtle changes to say, hey, I've noticed there's something a little different. Can I talk with you? You want to talk. They may not want to, but you've shown them that compassion and said, I'm here if you need that. Instead of, is there anything I can do to help? Like we talked about before, say, hey, I know you're up against a deadline. How's that going? Is there anything I can do to support you? Let them know you're there for them. And certainly don't do this if you yourself are against the deadline too. But if you do have a few extra moments or there's time that you know you can't help them, there's nothing wrong with coming along. You're a team. Always remember you and your coworkers and your support system are teams. Compliments are a huge encouragement, and give compliments. Don't say, oh, you look, the one we laugh about in our office the most is, you look nice today, and you look at, well, what do I do, look like crap the rest of the time? I mean, that's, say, you look especially, I really love that color dress on you, or is that a new makeup? I love the way it looks. Think of ways to make it come across as an encouragement versus you look really bad all the time, but you look really good today. So, find ways to give sincere compliments. Make them relevant to that situation. Again, I really love that color red on you, or, man, you did an awesome job at that workshop. I'm really happy how you did, that you just did a great job. You're good at that. You're good at sharing, and make it specific to that person so that it is about them, so that they know you're being complimenting toward them. And I have this quote that I read every single morning. Choose today to speak life-giving words of wisdom, encouragement, and blessing. And it's just a reminder to me that what comes out of my mouth blesses others, supports others, encourages others, builds others up. Let's choose to do that, and again, in a office setting, sometimes it's hard to, but hey, do you realize how much a handwritten card can mean to someone? It blows my mind. I will do handwritten cards all the time. I love to do handwritten cards, and I would do them and give them to people just to say, hey, thank you for being awesome. Thank you for the job you do. Thank you for, I know that during COVID, you've went the extra step to do this. A handwritten card, it blows my mind away how much that encourages people. And I will send them to some young folks, kids that are in their 20s that I met here through tech. And they're like, look, I got a card. I'm so, you made my day. You can make a person's day with a card, and it's so simple and so easy to do. So, just find some things just to, your coworkers having a bad day. And of course, again, the COVID, but when you can do this, bring in their favorite donut, bring them in some flowers, bring in, you know, hey, I want to take you to lunch. I mean, there's certain things you can do. There's certain levels of relationships within the workplace that we have that, you know, allows us to do different things. But there are so many things we can do to support and encourage each other. And so we've got a little bit of time left here, and that's really what I wanted, because I really want you guys to come and share some ways that you support others, and how maybe some ideas that you have of things of what support means to you. So let's I'm gonna stop sharing the screen, and we're gonna get here to see what everybody's got to say here. All right, let's see in the chat box. Let's go back and see what we have. Okay, so we have, it is best to give a reason why you're commending someone for something so that they can know what actions they are doing that are commendable and repeat them. Exactly. You know, give them the reason, make that, you know, make it relevant to that situation.
Good morning, Mellissa. This is
Hey, Karen.
Oh, you know my voice.
Baby, I do.
Good morning. I don't know if you can see me, but my office, you see this bag?
I do.
See? Well, this wasn't started by me, but this was started by my office. And every day we're supposed to write love notes about people, and put love our names and everything. And on the 14th of this month of February, I don't know what they're going to do, but so all month long, I've been writing why I love the coworkers that I'm in. So this is one of our little things that one of the staff did. So everybody have this on their desk.
I love that. I love that. That is awesome. That is awesome. All right, let's see. Someone said, I told one of my coworkers that everything was okay because they didn't seem as they were usual. It seemed to make their day because they just smiled and acted differently for the rest of the day. Sometimes just noticing can make that huge difference. That is so true. Just, you know, they may be just having a bad day. I mean, you wake up, the coffee pot's not working. Let me tell you, you don't want to see me if the coffee pot's not working. So, but you know, everybody has a bad day for whatever reason it may be. Things just go wrong. So that's huge. Just to say, hey, and it may not be anything wrong, but just that little bit of encouragement. All right, let's see. Okay, so this one says, many of my close friends do not live close. So I always try and send a text to check in about every 2 weeks. That is awesome. And sometimes we decide to make time for a call if there are a lot of updates and that they're too much to text for. That's great. You know, I mean, and especially in this day and age, you know, when we're Zooming so much, everybody's working from home, text or connecting. Oh, Christine, the question is, what do you do to support others, or what are some ideas of support that you might recommend? So we're wanting to find out. We got about 5 more minutes to share here. So let's everybody just share something. Pop on like Karen did and give us some ways to share.
I'll share one. I learned this from my cousin. So you can scroll to the bottom of your text thread, and the 3 people that are at the bottom of your text thread, just send some, you know, love, some compassion, and also include like, no need to respond. I'm just reaching out about something nice. And send it to the last 3 people. And that way you continue to build those relationships. And and I'll share that there are sometimes colleagues that I've texted with. I mostly email with colleagues, but then like when they're in the text thread, it's like, well, we're not really text friends. Is it okay to send this? Because they're like up in this like last 3 people thing. And every time I had enough courage to say, hey, thinking about you, or I appreciated this, or going back to the very specific compliments. I've had such an incredible response to that. So I just wanted to share that one, because it takes a little bit of courage to be like, okay, I haven't talked to this person in 3 months or 8 months. But the premise of the action is, do you want to build relationships or let it fizzle? And if they're at the very bottom, you're actively choosing fizzle by not acting. So I thought that was a really cool tip, and I've been really enjoying that.
That is a good tip. I like that. Okay, here's one says, there's a person I asked a favor for. Since they were so nice to me to do that, I created a relationship with them by emailing them every so often to see how they are and to thank them for what they did. So that's a great one, because you don't, maybe somebody you don't even really know, but you can form those relationships, by that, and to say, hey, and I know for myself, I've gotten emails from different people at times, thank you for all you do. And it's like, even though it's my job, and it is, and I am how do I, I'm a giver. I like to help people, and to do that, it does make you feel good when people reach out and say, hey, thank you for what you do. Even if it is thanking them for doing their job, it's important because it encourages them to want to continue. So, all right, so anybody else? We got a few more minutes here. I know somebody else has something. It's true. So I bet most of us in VCE identify as givers. I would think that, yeah, we probably are. We laugh about it in our office because that's about the truth. All right, so we've got a few more minutes and nobody's going to share, so let's share this. What is one thing? I want you to think about one thing and write it down. One way that you are going to support somebody this week. Something you're going to do. You're going to send a card. You're going to call them. You're going to send an email. You're going to just, I love Karen's idea. You might want to do what they're doing in their office. And in fact, even if you're not in the office, you could do that. Google groups, do a Word document with that kind of stuff, and just, hey, send it to your coworkers. So some things like that. Yeah, so someone asked if I could share the mindfulness affirmation at the beginning. I would be more than glad to do that. Send that to you. All right, here's one more. I have a friend that visits every month, and we go out to a new restaurant in that area. And so this week they're going to check in with friends that they haven't talked to recently. Okay, yep. Someone put, Samantha put, may I be safe, may I be peaceful, may I be kind to myself, may I be at ease in my body. All right, someone's going to call one of their relatives they've not called in a while to talk to her. All right. So let's see. All right. So Karen, what are you going to do this week? I know you got something.
Mellissa, this is what I do every week. And we put it on Facebook. My sisters and I decide to go around the world, and what we did is every Friday night we go to a different country and prepare a meal from that particular country. Then we put it on Facebook. So we're going to start this month and get some of the cultural history part. And some people say, I've been waiting to see which country you're going to go to. And so we've been doing that ever since the pandemic started. Also on Sundays, every Sundays, I go on Facebook and I post a scripture and I post an inspiration every Sunday since COVID. And people come back and say, I was looking for something, this is what I needed, and things like that. So co-workers, I'm sorry, I do Facebook a lot.
It's all right.
So those are two things that I do on a regular basis.
Awesome. Well, we're going to finish up with this. I want you to say this to yourself. Well, let's all say it together. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be kind to myself. May I accept myself as I am. So thank you everyone for joining with us. Make sure you join next week. And, we love having you here with us on these Monday mornings to get started and get your week off on the right foot. So, and if you have any ideas, Samantha, I'm going to throw this out there. If you have any ideas for future Mondays, pop them to Samantha and let her know, some ideas that you might like to do. So, all right. Thank you each, and y'all have a great Monday.
Bye.